Hey everyone, and welcome back to Thesaurus Thrive. I'm Lily.
And I'm Ava. So glad you're joining us today for some really practical English practice.
Absolutely, Ava. Today, we're diving into something super common, something we all do every single day. We're going to talk about your daily routine.
Oh, that's a great topic. You know, Lily, I remember when I was learning a new language, explaining my day was always one of the first things I wanted to be able to do. It feels so natural, like part of everyday conversation.
Exactly. And for our beginners listening, this is such an important skill. When someone asks you, what do you do every day, or how was your morning, you want to be able to answer clearly and confidently.
Definitely. So today we'll break it down. We'll go through the different parts of the day, from morning to evening. We'll give you simple phrases, useful vocabulary, and even some sentences to practice out loud.
Yes, practice is key. So get ready to listen, repeat, and build that speaking confidence. We're going to make talking about your routine easy and fun. Let's start with the morning because that's where every day begins, right?
Right. So the very first thing most of us do, we wake up. The phrase is, I wake up. So simple. For example, I wake up at 7 a.m.
Perfect. And it's important to know the difference between wake up and get up. Wake up is when your eyes open and you're no longer asleep. But get up means you actually leave your bed.
That's a great point, Lily. Sometimes I wake up, but I don't get up immediately. I might stay in bed for a few minutes, maybe check my phone. So I might say, I wake up at 6 a.m., but I get up at 6:30 a.m.
That's a very common experience. So I wake up and I get up. Can you hear that difference? Wake up and get up. Try saying that with us. I wake up, I get up.
Great. Okay, what's next after you get up? For me, it's usually the bathroom. So I brush my teeth, I wash my face. These are essential phrases.
Yes, absolutely. I brush my teeth. Notice we say my teeth, not the teeth. It's personal. And I wash my face. Simple, clear, and very useful.
After that, I usually get dressed. This means putting on your clothes. I get dressed. Say it with us. I get dressed.
And after you're dressed, often it's time for the most important meal of the day, breakfast. So I have breakfast or I eat breakfast. Both are correct and very common.
Yes, I have breakfast. What do you usually have for breakfast, Lily? I usually have toast and coffee.
I usually have cereal or sometimes oatmeal, and always coffee. So I might say, after I get dressed, I make coffee and then I have breakfast. See how we're building up the sentences?
That's perfect. And then, for many people, it's time to go to work or school. So I go to work or I go to school. You can also say, I leave for work or I leave for school.
And you can add how you go. For example, I go to work by bus, I go to school by car, or I walk to work. Let's try saying these simple phrases slowly.
Okay, everyone, listen carefully and then try to repeat them out loud. Don't worry if it's not perfect, just try. I wake up at 7 a.m.
I get up at 7:15 a.m.
I brush my teeth.
I get dressed.
I have breakfast.
I go to work by car.
Fantastic! See, you're already talking about your morning routine. Now, let's move to the afternoon. What usually happens then, Lily?
Well, for most of us, we are at work or at school. So the main activity is I work or I study. And usually around noon or early afternoon, we have lunch or eat lunch.
Right, I have lunch. It's just like I have breakfast. You can say what you eat for lunch. I have a sandwich for lunch, or I eat soup for lunch.
And sometimes in the afternoon, people take a break. This means a short rest from work or study. I take a short break, or I take a coffee break.
Yes, I take a break is a very useful phrase. So in the afternoon, my routine might be, I work from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. At 1 p.m., I have lunch. And sometimes I take a short break in the afternoon.
Excellent, Ava. You're putting it all together. And then often we finish work or finish school. That's when the workday or school day ends.
Okay, let's practice some afternoon phrases. Repeat after me. I work.
I study.
I have lunch at 1 p.m.
I take a break.
I finish work at 5 p.m.
Great job, everyone. You're doing so well. Now, let's talk about the evening. This is usually when we relax a bit, right?
Definitely. So after finishing work or school, the first thing is usually, I go home. Simple and direct. I go home.
And once you're home, there are many things people do. Some people exercise or work out. This means doing physical activity. I exercise after work.
Yes, that's a common one. Or if you live with family, you might cook dinner or make dinner. And then, of course, I have dinner or I eat dinner.
So I cook dinner and I have dinner. Or if someone else cooks, you just say, I have dinner. Easy. What about after dinner, Ava?
After dinner, it's usually relaxation time for me. I might watch TV or read a book or spend time with my family if they are around.
Watch TV, read a book, spend time with my family. These are excellent phrases. And then, finally, at the end of the day, we go to bed, or I fall asleep.
I go to bed and I fall asleep. So going to bed is when you physically get into bed, and falling asleep is when you actually start sleeping.
Exactly, just like wake up and get up, there's a small but important difference. Okay, let's practice these evening phrases. Repeat after us.
I go home.
I cook dinner.
I have dinner at 7 p.m.
I watch TV.
I read a book.
I go to bed at 10 p.m.
Wonderful! You've just covered your entire day in English. Now, let's try to put some of these together in a short conversation. Lily, what's your morning routine like?
Okay, Ava, let's see. Well, first, I wake up at 6 a.m. Then I get up and I brush my teeth and wash my face. After that, I usually get dressed and then I make some coffee. I have a light breakfast, maybe some fruit, and then I check my emails before I leave for work.
Wow, that's an early start. So you leave for work pretty early then.
Yes, I like to start my day early. What about your afternoon routine? What do you usually do after lunch?
Well, after lunch, I focus on my work. I have meetings and I reply to many emails. Sometimes around 3 p.m., I feel a bit tired, so I take a short break, maybe walk around the office for 5 minutes. Then I go back to work and I finish work around 5 p.m.
That sounds like a busy but productive afternoon. And what about your evenings, Ava? What happens after you finish work?
Okay, so after I finish work, I go home. When I get home, I usually change my clothes and sometimes I go for a quick walk or do some gentle exercise. Then I cook dinner for my family. We have dinner together around 6:30 p.m. After dinner, we might watch a show on TV, or I read a book before I go to bed. I usually go to bed around 10 p.m.
That's a lovely routine, Ava. It's so nice to hear how you structure your day. And do you see, everyone, how Ava and I are using all these simple phrases we just talked about? We're not using super complicated words. It's all about common, everyday language.
Exactly. The goal isn't to use big, fancy words. The goal is to communicate clearly and confidently. And talking about your daily routine is one of the best ways to practice that.
Now, we want to give you some practical tips to help you keep improving your English fluency, especially when talking about your routine or anything else.
Tip number 1. Start small. Don't try to explain your whole day perfectly from the beginning. Maybe just focus on your morning routine first, or just what you do after dinner. Master a few sentences, then add more.
That's such a great point, Ava. Small steps lead to big progress. If you try to do too much at once, you might feel overwhelmed and give up. Just pick 3 things you do every morning and practice saying them in English.
Yes, for example, I wake up at 7. I have coffee. I go to work.
Perfect. Then, when you feel comfortable, you can add more details. Our second tip is practice daily, even just for 5 minutes. Consistency is your best friend when learning a language. If you practice for 5 minutes every day, that's 35 minutes a week. That's much better than 1 hour once a week and then nothing for 6 days.
Totally agree. And daily doesn't mean perfectly. It means just trying. Even if you just mentally go through your routine in English in your head while you're doing it. Okay, now I am brushing my teeth. Now I am having breakfast. That counts.
Absolutely, Ava. Thinking in English is a powerful practice. And our third tip, don't be afraid to make mistakes. Mistakes are part of learning. Every single person who has ever learned a new language has made many, many mistakes. it's how you improve.
This is so important. Sometimes we worry too much about sounding perfect, but if you wait until you're perfect to speak, you'll never start. Just try to communicate. People will understand you, and they will appreciate your effort.
That's the spirit. Focus on getting your message across, not on perfect grammar every single time. The confidence will come as you speak more.
And remember, these simple daily routine phrases are a building block. Once you're comfortable with them, you can start describing past routines, like, yesterday I woke up late, or future plans, tomorrow I will wake up early.
Exactly, but for now, focus on the present simple tense, describing what you do every day. You've got this. We've covered so many useful phrases today, from I wake up to I go to bed.
Yes, and we hope you've been repeating along with us. That's the best way to make these phrases stick in your mind and on your tongue.
Thank you so much for joining us on Thesaurus Thrive today. We really hope this session has helped you feel more confident about talking about your daily routine in English.
Remember to practice these sentences every day. Just a few minutes can make a huge difference in your fluency. Try to describe your day out loud to yourself, or even to a friend if you have one.
Yes, make it a habit. And if you enjoyed this podcast and found it helpful, please give us a like, share it with your friends who are also learning English, and subscribe to our channel, Thesaurus Thrive, for more practical English lessons.
Your support helps us reach more learners like you. And don't forget to visit our website for additional resources and exercises to complement this lesson.
Keep practicing, keep speaking, and keep thriving in English. We'll be back soon with another exciting topic to help you on your fluency journey.
Until next time, take care and happy learning!